time I've ever been asked to give a eulogy, and it's an honor for me to speak to you all today on behalf of Sittie's 9 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren. As I look out at you all, or as the Tao here say, y'all, I see Sittie's large family and many, many friends who have been such a meaningful part of her 100 years of life. Sittie considered all who she loved part of her family. We are all her sons, daughters, nieces, nephews, and grandchildren of Sittie's. To the Dow Hairs, the Rahals, the Saroufs, the Maloufs, the Sedinways, friends from Sittie's church, her women's group, and the countless souls whose lives were touched by her, to all, she was simply our Sittie Rose. There is no doubt that Sittie was a loving mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, and friend to those who she loved. For as you all know, Sittie Rose touched so many lives in so many special ways. When I think of Sittie Rose, I think she was and will always be a symbol of love, support, and courage. And although this is a sad time, it's also a happy time. Time to celebrate the love and life we shared with her. Did you ever call Sittie on the phone? Her first words were always, "This is Sittie." Like saying to us all, "I'm here, what can I do for you?" On Sunday, I was at the hospital. It was one of Sittie's adopted granddaughters, Jane Malouf, who gave me a great one-word description of Sittie, a rock. And Jane, that is so true. Sittie was a rock for so many of us. Sittie was a strong lady, a rock for us all, and she was certainly my rock. When my mother died at age 50, I was 18, and from that day forward, Sittie did her best to be a mother to me, to my siblings, all the time being a mother to Jean, and a grandmother to the Dower kids, and a best friend to anyone else who wanted or needed a little Sittie rock in their lives. Through my years in college, and for the next 25 years or so, Sittie was my mother to me and to my siblings. Sittie, you did a great job, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. One of my last good visits with Sittie was just a few days before my now wife Carla and I went off to get married. Sittie was so proud and happy that finally the last of her 9 grandchildren had met their soulmates. It was such a relief for her. She was so joyful, I could hear the relief in her words, that a big part of her job was done to see that all of her grandchildren were happy. Sittie, all your grandchildren are now happy and healthy and in love, and I'm sure that is all you've ever wanted for us. Your job with us is done for now. I know many of you have leaned on Sittie through the years, and I am pretty confident that she always gave you the right guidance, as she had wisdom and love like no other person I have ever known. I, for one, consider myself very lucky to be able to call Rose my Sittie. Each of us have our own special moments and memories and stories of life with Sittie, and I'd like to share some of mine with you now. Sittie used to call me her big baby, and I loved it. Hopefully no one else in this room was called the big baby. She had a way of making everyone feel special with her terms, and that certainly did it for me. Even though I was a little embarrassed when she used to say that in front of the nurses in the nursing home, and I'm twice their age, it was okay, Sittie, because it brought a smile to your face and made you laugh, and at my expense, not a problem. Some of my earliest memories of Sittie were of Easter Sunday. You see, most parents place candy out for their kids, but Sittie and Jiddu placed out new, crisp $1 bills around the house. And every year, Sittie would hide the money in roughly the same places, and every year she made sure all her grandchildren got an equal amount. Although I wasn't as fast as my other brothers and sister, Sittie made sure we all got the same amount because there was an unwritten rule that all of her grandchildren were treated equally. Sorry, Julie, Jimmy, Michael, and Susie, if you looked closer, you would have gotten in on some of that Easter action. Growing up, Sittie was our Tiffany book of etiquette. From the time I can remember, whenever we were seated at the dinner table, we were taught to put our napkins in our lap, keep our elbows off the table, chew with your mouth closed, wait till everyone had been seated before eating, and always ask to be excused. I especially remember her telling my brothers to stop throwing food at me. But when they did, they may or may not have been disciplined with the diddy stick. were unfamiliar with the Ditty stick, it's pretty much anything that could be held and potentially used to discipline a child if needed. I'm not sure where it was invented, but somehow our mother Marlene and Auntie Jean figured out how to use the Ditty stick, and we can only guess that Sittie showed her how. To this day, the lessons that Sittie taught us hold true. Although we may not have agreed with her as kids, we look back as adults and realize the wisdom and counsel of her were incredible. When I asked my cousin Julie her favorite memory of Sittie's visits, she simply replied, "Cooking, lots of cooking." Words will never describe what an amazing cook Sittie was. To this day, I've never had cabbage rolls, spiha, gibby, or hummus like Sittie Rose made. Sittie would always make our favorites for us on our birthdays and holidays. So considerate that she would even make a special batch for my brother Tommy of spiha that didn't have onions in it, because Tommy didn't like onions. He was so spoiled. She would also make a special batch for the Dowager kids. Sittie would ask my father, her son-in-law Leo, to bring them to the store, package them up, and ship them off to Kentucky to her other grandchildren. But as I recall, they never seemed to make it out of Cambridge. My dad would say to us that they would go bad in transit, so we would just have to eat them. Sorry again, Julie, Jimmy, Mike, Vincent. Up until the days that Sittie's fingers would not allow her to roll cabbage or fold spiha, she would always cook for her family. Her food was just one more way of showing how much she loved her family. Always giving in whatever way she could right up until the end of her life. In the dictionary, under the word giver, should be the name Sittie Rose Maloof. In closing, I just want to take a moment to thank everyone, and I see many of you here in front of me now, who took the time to visit Sittie at Cadbury Commons, and even when she lived in Belmont, but more importantly at Cadbury. I'm not sure you all know this, but Sittie had her own guest registry sign-in book at Cadbury Commons. She filled up so many pages, they made her own little Sittie sign-in book. She was that popular there, and I thank all of you for visiting her. I know many of you here today made it a big part of your everyday life to visit Sittie. And on behalf of all of Sittie's grandchildren, I want to thank you for the loving care that you all gave to our Sittie. I want to make one special thank you to Christine Sednaway, the brother of my wife, Leo. Christine, you like many loved Sittie. You made it a point to spend time with her. Every Sunday, for countless years, you made it a part of your every Sunday to spend a few hours with her. And on behalf of all of her grandchildren, we want to thank you for giving so much of your time and love for Sittie. I know Sittie was like a mother to you, and your kindness towards her was a true blessing. You are a true angel. I'm going to get that now. Auntie Jean, your mom is now with your father and sister. And on behalf of all the grandchildren, we want to tell you that although some of your family has moved on, we are still here. We want to keep you around for a long, long time. For in your beautiful face, we see Sittie, and for me, we see my mother, Marlene. Well, Sittie, my time to speak is up. This is your big baby. On behalf of all your grandchildren and all who loved you, we thank you for staying with us for so long. We thank you for being our rock. And we promise to pass on the lessons you have taught us